What will the Phoenix Suns do during the 2019 offseason? What will they do during the draft and free agency? Will they make any trades? Before I get into all of that, please make sure to share and subscribe with all your Phoenix Suns fans. Really appreciate it, guys, here on the Basketball Zone YouTube channel. The Phoenix Suns have been a complete mess for a long time. We all know that. And it starts from the top. Their owner has been really incompetent, hiring the wrong coaches, just wasting money from that perspective, hiring the wrong people in the front office. Now, hopefully, James Jones, former NBA player, very respected throughout the NBA, can change some things. That's what I'm hoping for because I have family in Phoenix and I don't want them to keep suffering. I want them to put a good product on the floor. And we all know that this team has an abundance of talent. Now, will that talent pan out? Who knows, right? You have Devin Booker. That's a guy who you look at and you say, you know what? He's an all-star. DeAndre Ayton, number one pick from last year's draft, has potential to be an all-star. And you go down the list, a guy that they may not be happy with, Josh Jackson, former number 5 pick 2 years ago. A lot of people had him as the best player in that 2017 class. Has not panned out. He's not the best at making basketball decisions when he's on the floor. Extremely athletic, can give you a lot defensively if he is locked in. That's a big if he's locked in. That's Josh Jackson, though. Just got in trouble recently, got arrested. The whole idea of him being Josh Jackson and not being able to get into the VIP section, I can't believe that he couldn't afford something like that. Just boggles my mind. Makes you think, right? Makes you think, what is wrong with this guy? Can we get off of him? Can we just get rid of those $7 million that will hit the cap? Or is it we have to be patient? We just hired our newest basketball head coach, Monty Williams, 5-year deal, which was a bit surprising knowing that James Jones doesn't have 5 years on his deal. It's either a good thing or a bad thing. It shows that their owner, Robert, is thinking, you know what? I have to just calm down, just be patient. And I believe in Monty Williams. I think he's a good coach. Now, what should the Suns do in the series that we're doing here on the Basketball Zone YouTube channel? We're going through every single NBA team. We've gone through the Kings, which is the first team. This is the second episode, which is the Suns. What should they do to improve their roster? My first thing is you have the big Kelly Oubre. What should they do with Kelly Oubre? At what price, if they in fact do sign him long term, what is that price? Is it 13 million? Is it 10 million? Is it 15 million? Max 17 million. I would not pay him that money. I would pay him more around $11 million max. That's what I think. He's a nice backup wing to have. I don't see him as that starter that can get you buckets, that can make high IQ plays. He's just not that guy. He's still young. I completely understand that. But at what price will he come? The Suns roughly have about $25 million to spend. I don't know what they do there. They may have to just wait out and see if they can get someone via trade. We all know that they need a point guard. They've needed a point guard. They had a bunch of point guards, which is hilarious. Now they have no point guard. They want a guy that can complement Devin Booker. Now down the list, I'm going to give you free agents, guys they can target via trade. DAngelo Russell, restricted free agent from the Brooklyn Nets, would be my number one guy that I would go after. Give him the 22 to 25 million, spend it on him. That would be a nice backcourt between Devin Booker and D'Lo, two guys who can play make, who can score on all three levels. guys who genuinely like each other right now. They've been on record saying that they would like to play with each other. He's only 23 years old right now. That would be a nice fit. He would be my number one guy, and that would be via free agency. Now, another guy that may make sense for them is Mike Conley. Mike Conley, to me, with the Memphis Grizzlies having the number 2 pick and allegedly going with Ja Morant, it makes sense. Now, for the Grizzlies, it needs to make sense with the players you get in return, because Mike Conley is a hell of a basketball player, one of the most underrated basketball players in the entire NBA. Okay, I know he's been injured, or he was injured the previous year, not this last year. But Mike Conley would solidify, bring leadership, and just stabilize this organization that needs stability. They need some type of a winning player that's been there, done that, and that can still contribute to this nucleus of a Booker Aiden type nucleus, right? You guys, the Suns have guys like TJ Warren. A guy who I really like is DeAnthony Melton from USC. Got him in a trade. Really like what he can bring off the bench in this next year if they don't get rid of him. But again, you thought you had something with Josh Jackson. He may just need a fresh start. You already have Mikal Bridges, who I like a lot as well. Mikal Bridges is solid, going to be solid for a long time. So you have nice pieces, okay? Mike Conley would stabilize all of that and instantly give them a reason to believe, give that fan base a reason to believe. Now, before we get into the draft, I'm going to keep going down my list. So it's D'Lo, Mike Conley at number 2, Chris Paul at number 3. Now, what would it take, and why would the Suns do this? One, because Chris Paul, even though he had his worst season ever as a pro this past year, a lot of it due to injuries, he would bring that leadership the same way Mike Conley would. But the thing with him, the caveat is, do you want to take on his $38 million next year and the $44 million the following year? That's a lot of money, a lot of commitment. Roberts, is their owner, is he ready to take on that commitment? Is James Jones patient enough to not pull the trigger and say, you know what, we're not ready to win. We're not one piece away. Chris Paul is maybe that last piece to that playoff contender. But are they? We thought the same thing about the Kings last year. They made the huge leap. They have a good coach in Monty. Can Chris Paul be that guy? Is he worth the risk? Is he a guy that you can say, let's give up TJ Warren, possibly Tyler Johnson? And I say Tyler Johnson, even though he has a player option, he is in no way hell going to opt out of his $19 million next year. He's going to opt in. Okay. So you have $19 million expiring deal. Maybe you give him up. Maybe that potential. I think they have is it a Bucks pick, a 2020 first round pick from the Bucks. Okay. Do you do Josh Jackson in that Bucks pick and you absorb that and you try to make the salaries work? Something, a package that can make sense to bring in Chris Paul. What do you guys think about that? Let me know. Kyle Lowry. Again, Kyle Lowry would be my number 4 option. Kyle Lowry, again, a guy who makes really good basketball decisions, super underrated. At times, disappears during the playoffs, but lately he's been really good. The past 2 games, that is, or game 1 and then game 3, just to clarify. He's been aggressive, and that's the type of player you want leading you as the floor general. He would be nice on that Suns team. You would have to trade for him now. He isn't a free agent. And with him, he has an expiring deal the following year. So I would make it work, especially if Kawhi Leonard decides to leave. Kyle will be on the market. You best believe that. At number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At number 5, Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday is a guy that I would look at. Now, he may not be the best guy stylistically next to Devin Booker, but he fits and he covers so many areas that would instantly make you a better team. That's Drew Holiday. What would it take to get a guy like that? Just depends on what they do with Anthony Davis. Now that's a whole separate conversation that we can get into, right? But that's a guy on my list. Number 6, Lonzo Ball. Is there a way where they can get Lonzo Ball? He would be a great fit next to Devin Booker, a guy who can do it all except shoot. He can play great defense. I think he's the best passer in the NBA. I really do. He would be a nice piece, nice young piece there and fits the timetable of this young nucleus. Number 7, Terry Rozier. I didn't like how he came out on ESPN First Take. Shout out to Malik Johnson as well, who came out today and just put everybody on blast. This is must-watch television with the LA Lakers. They're a complete mess, and their video is coming, okay? Terry Rozier, go back to that. I liked what I saw 2 years ago in the playoffs. Not this past playoffs, but last year's playoffs against the Cavaliers, the Bucks, etc. I like that Terry Rozier. And I understand the difficulties of bringing back Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, and then your minutes dropping, your role changing. That's tough for a young player. And he pretty much said that. But with that said, he threw a lot of people under the bus, and that's not about the team. That's more about you now. Now, that looks kind of bad, in my opinion, especially for the teams that may look at him to become a starter in the NBA. So those are my top 7. Let me know what you guys think. Those are all moves, right? Some trades, some free agents that the Suns can elect and go in that direction. They still have to decide what they do with Kelly Oubre. With $25 million, not much to spend. We'll see what happens there. Let me know if you guys want me to cover anything else that I missed from the Phoenix Suns. I know a lot of people have joined the conversation right now. Again, make sure to hit that like button. And if you guys do want to go to any playoff game, make sure to use our code COWBELL on SeatGeek.com to get $20 off. But that's pretty much it. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, slap that like button or dislike button, whatever the case may be. You may not like my opinions about the Suns. Hopefully you guys did. I'm hoping that I can do all 30 NBA teams. This would be 2 out of 2. I'm going through the Pacific Division first. So the Clippers, Lakers, the Warriors, and then I'll decide what to do after that. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys on the next one.